One single event can sometimes change the course of history forever. A single shot can echo through generations, leaving a legacy of conflict and transformation in its wake. On the morning of 28th of June 1914, such an event was set into motion, though few could have predicted the sheer scale of the devastation that would follow. The central figure in this historical drama was Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He was not just a minor royal, he was the heir to the vast and powerful Austro-Hungarian throne, a sprawling empire that covered a significant portion of Central Eastern Europe. As the nephew of the reigning emperor Franz Joseph I, his future role was to lead this complex multi-ethnic state, a duty he took with immense seriousness. The Archduke was a man of strong convictions and a somewhat stern demeanor, known for his passion for hunting, his deep devotion to his family. He was married to Sophie, Duchess of Hohenberg, a woman he had married for love against the strict conventions of the royal court. Their union was a happy one, but it was not considered equal by the rigid standards of the Habsburg dynasty, meaning his children were excluded from the line of succession. On that fateful summer day, the couple was undertaking an official state visit to Sarajevo. They had traveled to Sarajevo, the vibrant capital city of Bosnia-Herzegovina, a province that had been annexed by the Austro-Hungarian Empire only a few years earlier, in 1908. The purpose of the visit was ostensibly for the Archduke, in his capacity as Inspector General of the Army, to observe military maneuvers being conducted nearby. However, the visit was also a powerful political statement, a demonstration of imperial authority in a region simmering with nationalist discontent. The date itself, June 28th, was deeply provocative for many Serbs living in Bosnia. It was St. Vitus's Day, a day of great national and historical significance commemorating the 1389 Battle of Kosovo, a symbol of Serbian resistance against foreign rule. For the Archduke to arrive in Sarajevo on this particular day was seen by many Serbian nationalists not as a coincidence but as a deliberate insult. The city of Sarajevo was therefore a powder keg of political tension. While some citizens lined the streets to catch a glimpse of the royal couple, others harbored deep resentment towards the empire they represented. The atmosphere was charged with an unspoken and dangerous energy. The Archduke and his wife were to travel through the city in an open-topped motorcade, a common practice for public figures at the time, but one that left them incredibly exposed. They waved to the crowds along the Apel Quay, a wide boulevard that ran alongside the Miljacka River, completely unaware that hidden among the onlookers were several young men armed with bombs pistols, ready to ignite a conflict that would engulf the world. That was the scene. Behind the plot to assassinate the Archduke was a shadowy secret society. They were called the Black Hand, also known as Unification or Death, a Serbian nationalist group dedicated to creating a greater Serbia, a unified state for all South Slavic peoples. They saw the Austro-Hungarian Empire as an oppressive occupier, especially its control over Bosnia-Herzegovina, its members, high-ranking Serbian military officers, and impressionable young idealists, all united by revolutionary zeal. They believed only violent acts could achieve liberation. The group recruited and trained a small cell of young Bosnian Serbs, among them 19-year-old Gavrilo Princip, frail in health but burning with nationalist passion. They saw the Archduke's visit as a golden opportunity. They were given pistols, they were given bombs, they were given cyanide capsules to ensure they couldn't be captured and interrogated. These weren't hired killers. They believed murdering the heir was martyrdom, assassins positioned along the motorcade route. The 6-car procession moved through the city that Sunday. Nedeljko Chabrinovic hurled a bomb at the Archduke's car. The driver accelerated. The bomb bounced off the folded back roof. It exploded under the next car, wounding officers and onlookers. Franz, Ferdinand, and Sophie were unharmed. Chaos erupted on the street. Chabrinovic swallowed cyanide and jumped into the Miljacka River. He was pulled out and arrested. The Archduke, remarkably calm, insisted on continuing. The itinerary included a reception at the town hall. After an angry speech, he changed plans. He decided to visit the hospital to check on the wounded officers. That compassionate impulse would prove a fatal mistake. It set the stage for a second, successful assassination later that day. Well, you know, that's how it unfolded. The decision to visit the hospital required a change in the planned route. The official plan was to drive straight down the Appel Quay, but the drivers weren't told about the last-minute alteration. The Archduke's grave and stiffed convertible turned off the main quay onto the narrow Franz Joseph Street. A military official in the front seat realized the error and shouted. He ordered driver Leopold Leuker to stop and reverse. The car had no modern reverse gear and slowly came to a halt right in front of Schiller's Delicatessen on the corner. By a staggering twist of fate, Gavrilo Princip was standing there. After the failed bomb attempt, he had wandered to the cafe, thinking the chance was gone. Suddenly, the royal motorcade stopped less than 5 feet away. Seeing his chance, Princip stepped forward. He drew his FN Model 1910 pistol and fired 2 shots in rapid succession into the open-topped car. The first bullet struck the Archduke in the neck, the second hit Duchess Sophie in the abdomen. At first, no one realized how serious it was. Sophie collapsed onto her husband's lap. The Archduke, still upright, reportedly cried, "Soferl, Soferl, don't die, live for our children." His strength then began to fail. The car sped toward the governor's residence for help, but both died of their wounds. Within minutes, the heir and his wife were dead. The news raced through Sarajevo and by telegraph across Europe's capitals. Initial shock and outrage spread. In Vienna, grief quickly turned to fury. Leadership saw this not as isolated fanaticism, but as a direct attack linked to the Kingdom of Serbia. They believed Serbian officials had been complicit. The stage was set for a diplomatic crisis as Austria-Hungary prepared its response. It was that sudden. The assassination of a single royal heir would not, in a more stable time, have led to a global conflict. However, early 20th century Europe was anything but stable. It was a continent entangled in a complex and rigid web of military alliances, a system meant to maintain balance of power. The assassination was the spark, but the tinder of militarism, alliances, imperialism, nationalism had been piling up for decades. The lone gunman's shots were the catalyst that led to unimaginable destruction, reshaping Europe, but which had created 2 heavily armed, suspicious camps. Central powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, Triple Entente, France, Russia, Great Britain. Those alliances were tripwires. An attack on one could trigger a chain reaction. Convinced of Serbian guilt, Austria-Hungary used the assassination as a pretext to crush Serbian nationalism. They sought assurances from Germany first. On July 5th, Germany gave the blank check, unconditional support. Emboldened, Austria-Hungary issued a harsh ultimatum on July 23rd, 10 demands designed to be unacceptable. Serbia accepted most but rejected a key demand to allow Austrian investigators on its soil. Vienna took that as justification. On July 28, 1914, exactly 1 month after the shot, Austria-Hungary declared war and shelled Belgrade. That act set off the dominoes. Russia mobilized to defend the Slavs. Germany declared war on Russia on August 1st. 2 days later, Germany declared war on France. Germany invaded neutral Belgium to reach France. Britain, guarantor of Belgian neutrality, declared war on Germany on August 4th. In just over a month, a Balkan dispute became a European war. The assassination was the spark, but the tinder of militarism, alliances, imperialism, nationalism had been piling up for decades. The lone gunman's shots were the catalyst that led to unimaginable destruction, reshaping Europe.